Have no idea what's going on with the shutdown. These are the only two things you need to know. The Democrats refused to sign a budget bill that will cause us to lose a ton of healthcare. They're not asking for more. They're just saying to the Republicans, hey, can we keep what we have? And if we lose it, a lot of people are going to pay double for their healthcare. And the Republicans refused to negotiate, so the government got shut down. The second thing is that you're going to hear this lie that the Democrats want to give healthcare to the illegals. And I hate to tell you, but undocumented people can't get healthcare. You're literally just being lied to. That's all you need to know. Tell a friend.
No, you're literally lying. You're literally lying to all of your people. Y'all, I want to talk about this shutdown and how the Democrat politicians are gaslighting their constituents and outright lying about giving illegals free health care. There is actual proof. It's not hard to find as long as you don't just hit Google real quick, like, hey, are illegal immigrants getting health care? Because it's going to give you some left-wing news article that says, no, they're not. And then you dig a little bit further if you're not completely retarded, and you can actually find the proof, which I have today. And I want to look at an Instagram that some physician actually created, literally lying to her followers. She has 17,000 likes on this post, literally saying, this is all you need to know about the government shutdown in 27 seconds, as if you can literally explain this government shutdown in 27 seconds. That's not possible unless you're lying, which she was. So first, let's hear from JD Vance. And we'll also hear a little bit of hypocrisy in there from things that the Democrats have said in times long past. Well, not that long, more recent. But, you know, their constituents won't go back a few months just to see what they've been talking about and how they're completely hypocritical at this point and shutting down the government because they didn't get what they wanted.
This is a Fox News alert. Right now, the U.S. government shut down after a last-ditch Senate vote failed to keep it funded.
Vice President J.D. Vance joins us now. Mr. Vice President, thanks for joining Fox and Friends this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
So y'all been going back and forth. Y'all had the leadership over. What are they asking for? Because you guys made it very clear. You just want a clean CR. What do they want in return?
Yeah, so Lawrence, I want to answer that, but let's step back for a second because I think it's important for the American people to realize that the far left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. It's actually not even all Senate Democrats. I was really gratified to see that a few of the moderate Senate Democrats voted with Senate Republicans last night to keep the government open. This is basically Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, he's worried he's going to get a primary challenge from AOC, and so he's shutting down the people's government to give in to sort of the left-wing coalition and their party. And it's craziness, and people are going to suffer because of it. I mean, people who benefit from low-income food programs are going to suffer because of this. If you're flying today, I hope, of course, you arrive safely and on time, but you may not arrive on time because the TSA and the air traffic controllers are not getting paid today. Our military is not getting paid today, starting today. And obviously, the longer this drags on, the worse that it is for the American people. So we are where we are. And to your point, what do Senate Democrats ask for? Well, initially, they said that they wanted to shut down the government because Donald Trump was a dictator. Okay, that's absurd. Then they said they wanted to shut down the government because they wanted hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. That, of course, is also absurd. And now they're saying they just want to work on ensuring that Americans have low-cost health care. Well, I agree with them. Of course, we all want to ensure that Americans have low-cost health care, so let's work together on that. You don't shut the government down. You don't take the government as a hostage because you want to engage in a negotiation about health care costs. Let's do that negotiation, but let's do it in the context of actually opening the government and ensuring those essential services are actually provided to the American people.
Speaker Johnson has a video running continuously outside of his office, and he also posted it on social media because the Democrats, when you go in the Wayback Machine, they were always the one that thought that these shutdowns were reckless. Listen to this, Mr. Vice President.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most. A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos.
Families will be hurt. Farmers will be hurt.
It's the service members who will work without a paycheck. It's the firefighters who will be furloughed.
This shutdown, you know who's going to feel the pain? You know who it hurts? You. Everyday people and the most vulnerable. Seniors, veterans, working families, hungry kids, y'all.
Interesting.
Well, then why didn't they vote to continue the funding?
That's such a good point, and I see that Mike Johnson has apparently learned from the trolling master, President Donald Trump, by putting that video outside of his office, just throwing the Democrats' words right back at him. But it's actually such an important point. You don't shut the government down because you have a policy disagreement. These are two separate questions. There are essential services that have already been appropriated, where we've already agreed, you know, we want our military to have a certain amount of payment. We want air traffic control to have a certain amount. We want to ensure that a certain number of people are able to access food benefits. You don't shut down the government because you have a policy disagreement about a totally separate issue. And that's what the Democrats have done. And it really is astonishing to go back 20 years. I mean, I pretty much the entire time, guys, that I've paid attention to American politics, I have seen Democrats stand before the American people and say, you don't shut down the government because you're not getting what you want. And here they are last night, the far left faction of Senate Democrats, they shut down the government. Why? Because they're not getting what they want. And
the hypocrisy is rich. So not only do they want to shut down the government because they want to give illegals free health care, but also they're talking about the Affordable Care Act and additional subsidies that were added to it during COVID, additional tax breaks because people were struggling, and those are not to expire until December 31st. So their theory is that if they don't make a decision right now, the insurance companies are going to increase their premiums before December 31st, which there's no proof or evidence that that's actually going to happen. So what JD is saying is, let's pass the CR and let's negotiate on whether or not we can keep these tax credits, and for whatever reason should we. That's what the Republicans are actually saying. And the Democrats are just taking the government hostage and going against every single thing that they just said in that clip. And here's this demon of a doctor, that Dr. Jennifer Lincoln on Instagram, telling people that she can explain the government shutdown in 27 seconds.
Have no idea what's going on with the shutdown. These are the only two things you need to know. Democrats refuse to sign a budget bill that will cause us to lose a ton of health care. They're not asking for more. They're just saying to the Republicans, hey, can we keep what we have? And if we lose it, a lot of people are going to pay double for their health care. And the Republicans refuse to negotiate, so the government got shut down. The second thing is that you're going to hear this lie that the Democrats want to give health care to the illegals. And I hate to tell you, but undocumented people can't get health care. You're literally just being lied to. That's all you need to know. Tell a friend.
No, you're literally lying. You're literally fucking lying to all of your people. And luckily, some of them are actually calling her out. Michelle says, illegals can't get health care, then why are the majority of ERs covered with illegals? It's not a lie. Dems give illegals driver's licenses and government issued IDs. That's how they get health care. Republicans are trying to save our country from illegal citizens. This person said that's absolutely inaccurate. Undocumented do receive free health care. I'm a nurse in California. I know for a fact. This person said, you're so wrong. It's funny. And this person down here says Medi-Cal covers illegals. California becomes the first state to offer health insurance to all undocumented immigrants. Imagine that. And imagine that she had to limit her comments. I don't know if maybe her comments are just limited to people who follow her, but I highly doubt that all of these people that are disagreeing with her actually follow her. So I think that she probably limited her comments after she got so much backlash, because she literally just fucking lied to everyone, and I can prove it. So first, I just want to explain something. If you're on insurance from the marketplace, aka Affordable Care Act insurance, then if you fall within a certain level of income, you can receive a tax break to your premium. And you can either receive that tax break on your monthly premium, or you can wait until you file your taxes and then receive the tax break based off of how much you actually made that year. So there's two different options there. If the Affordable Care Act subsidies do not get extended past December 31st, it is true that some people's subsidies or some people's premiums will double effectively, and it's not really their premium doubling, it's their tax break lowering. That goes for certain poverty levels, and then there's other poverty levels where it won't change at all. So they're telling like a half truth here, and they're not explaining also that if that insurance premium doubles, it's not an insane insurance premium, unless of course you make like over $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year and more, then, you're going to have to pay a pretty large premium if you're on the marketplace. But that's just how it is if you're not getting insurance from your employer. Employers pay most of the premium, more than the marketplace tax cuts help you. So it is somewhat true that some people could experience a double in their insurance premium that they have to pay if this isn't extended past December. So I'll give it to them. But other than that, she completely lied. She didn't explain any of that. She didn't explain that the deadline isn't for 2.5 more months. None of that. She just told people what she wants them to hear. There's even a physician in these comments. I didn't get to that one, but there's a physician in these comments saying he sees patients every single day that are getting free healthcare and they are undocumented immigrants. Now let's get to all these news articles that I found that actually prove that undocumented immigrants have been getting free healthcare. Would you look at that? ABC News, California becomes the first state to offer healthcare insurance to all undocumented immigrants. What? What was that, Dr. Jennifer? It's illegal for undocumented immigrants to get free healthcare insurance? Well, yes, it is. But they found a way, didn't they? The Democrats found a way, as they always do. That's what happens when you're corrupt. Cost of illegal immigrant free healthcare program in Minnesota soars. Wow. I thought illegal immigrants weren't getting free healthcare. How can the premiums, or how can the cost of the healthcare program in Minnesota for illegal immigrants soar if illegal immigrants weren't getting any free insurance? Not to mention that Melissa in Minnesota, who was assassinated, she literally the day before voted to stop giving Medicaid to their illegal immigrants. Imagine that. Imagine being Dr. Jennifer on Instagram, finally realizing, hopefully, that she just fucking lied to a bunch of people. Look at this. NPR. More states extend health coverage to immigrants, even as issue inflames. A growing number of states are opening taxpayer-funded health insurance programs to immigrants, including those living in the U.S. without authorization. You know, they refuse to call them illegal immigrants, but we know what that means. Look at this. Wikipedia, of all places. Healthcare availability for undocumented immigrants in the United States varies by area and other factors. Undocumented immigrants face significant barriers to healthcare, including low socioeconomic status. Well, they're illegal. They aren't supposed to be here. Difficulty in negotiating time off work, lack of transportation, and language barriers. Yeah, well, maybe they should have stayed in their own fucking country. How about that? State expands access to affordable private coverage for immigrant populations. The U.S. uninsured rate reached a historic low in early 2023, yet millions of people still lack comprehensive healthcare insurance. Immigrants are disproportionately likely to be uninsured, which reduces their access to healthcare and increases their risk of incurring medical debt. This higher rate of uninsurance stems from systemic inequalities, including legal barriers to affordable care coverage for non-citizens. Non-citizens, especially undocumented immigrants. Would you look at that? Look at this one. Health benefits for immigrant adults. The Health Benefits for Immigrant Adults program, which served eligible individuals aged 42 to 64, closed effective July 2025. The last day of medical coverage for HBIA was June 30th, 2025. The Health Benefits for Immigrant Seniors program, which serves qualifying individuals aged 65 and over, will not be changing. Due to state fiscal year 2026 budgetary constraints, the state had to make the difficult decision to use the limited funding available to continue coverage for eligible non-citizens age 65 plus and only. Another state making decisions about giving illegal immigrants free health care. Interesting, but that's not happening, Dr. Jennifer. That's not happening. We all believe you. Immigrants in New York have more health insurance options than any other state. Applying for health insurance won't affect your immigration status or application for status. your immigration status won't be shared with federal immigration authorities. Oh, so in New York, they're also getting free health insurance. Okay, but it's not happening. It's not. I also found this little gem from a video that I made last year.
They wanted us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah, and long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like a refugee to me. Just being honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's.
So not only are they receiving free health insurance in certain states, but they were also trying to convince them to sign up for disability so that they could be set for the rest of their life. What's going to come along with that disability? Probably Medicaid. If you're in a state where they're allowing it, which we just saw several, and I just looked up a few. There's more. But thankfully, a lot of the Democrats are seeing that they're being gaslit into spending their tax dollars on people who shouldn't be here in the first place on things that they're not eligible for. Like, we don't get free money. We don't get prepaid cards. We don't get free housing. We don't get free food. We don't get free health insurance. So why should they? That doesn't even make any sense. They're here illegally. They should be deported. They should have been turned away at the border in the first place and not allowed to come here, because now we have to spend even more tax dollars, not only on all of the shit that they've been given, but to get them out of here, which is insane. So some people are actually realizing it. I personally don't think that the Democrats really care about any of these people. I think that they've gotten themselves into a rock and a hard place, especially Chucky Boy Schumer, because his approval rating is currently 38%, which is the lowest that it's been in 20 years. And I think that he's afraid of potentially being replaced by AOC. So now he has to cater to the far left extremists on his side. And if he were to cave into the Republicans, he would surely lose all the support that he has left. So now he's like walking this tightrope where he's got to gaslight his people and refuse to actually keep the government open in order to maintain his 37% approval rate, the lowest in 20 years. Not to mention that, but Gen Z is also leaving the Democrat Party. They are sending warning signs to the Democrat Party. We do not believe you. We do not want to be gaslit. We think that you're evil. We don't want to transition children. We don't want rainbow flags everywhere. We don't want this anti-Christian agenda everywhere. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next one.